Hey guys, Tina here and welcome to another video. Today I am bringing you my April TBR, which just so happens to be my O.W.L.s Magical Readathon TBR. I'm slightly late with posting this because the readathon is already taking place, but I was still, until yesterday, basically filling up the slots for what book I want to read for each subject, and because of that, I could not film the video, but I'm already reading the books, so I'm not behind necessarily. I'm just behind in posting this video. So yeah, regarding what profession I want to achieve through this readathon with O.W.L.s, or actually what profession I want to pursue, I have a few options picked, but I could not actually make up my mind. So I decided to just match a book to each subject and then see what I'm going to be reading, what I'm going to be feeling like, and then choose a profession. But I'm also pretty ambitious right now with reading, so I decided to try to get through all of the subjects, which means that I have quite a few books to get through. So this might actually be also my May TBR, because I might cheat a little bit, or quite a lot, and actually have O.W.L.s readathon in May as well, depending how far I'm gonna get with the reading this month. I definitely don't see myself reading all of these books, but I would like to get through a fair number of them. So yeah. So as I said, I've chosen a book for each subject, and I'm just gonna go through those and let you know what I'm gonna be reading in potentially the next 2 months. So yeah, so here we go. So we have Ancient Runes, which is a subject that I would never choose if I had, an option. So a prompt for that is heart on the cover or in the title. So I have a lot of unread books, but I don't have them all here, so I could not go through them and see if there's a heart on any of the covers. And also, I don't think I have a book that has a heart in the title, as is. So I decided to cheat again a bit, and I decided to go with this monster of a book, which is Sarah J. Maas's Crescent City, or House of Earth and Blood. So if you sort of switch the order of the letters in Earth, you get a heart. So I decided to, just go with that. So let's say that we have a heart in the title. It's just not written the right way. So yeah, what this book is about is actually beyond me, because I don't know. I didn't even check the synopsis. I just decided to buy it. I think it's urban fantasy. It's an adult book, and we have all sorts of creatures, and I think this girl's friend or something goes missing, and she has to explore that or something like that. I could be completely wrong about this, but yeah, I do like Sarah J. Maas's writing and her books in general. I still have to finish her From the Glass series. I still haven't gotten around to reading The Kingdom of Ash, but yeah, this sounds like it could be fun, so I'm gonna wait and see if that is the case. Next, we have arithmancy, and for that you have to read something outside your favorite genre. So my favorite genre is probably fantasy. I mean, is there any doubt? No, not at all. So I decided to go with a contemporary, or it's just literary fiction, and I decided to read My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell. I've heard about this book recently on Instagram, actually. I've seen it on script, but I didn't pay any attention to it. And then I saw somebody praise it on Instagram, and I decided to actually check it out. And it sounds like a hard read, a tough read, but very interesting. So we have this girl who had a relationship with her professor in high school, and now, as the Me Too movement is very prominent, she is sort of thinking back and trying to figure out whether their relationship was consensual. Was she sort of pressured into it? She goes through all of that, and she's trying to figure out if her memories, if what happened was actually what she thinks that happened. So it sounds very interesting. As I said, a tough read, but a very interesting and probably powerful as well. So hopefully I'll get to that one. And then we have astronomy, and for that we have to read the majority of this book when it's dark outside, and for that I decided to go to listen to Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. I have already read that book when it came out, so I decided to listen to it this time. And I can do that, since I like to listen to books when I go to bed, and sometimes I fall asleep before I get to finish whatever time period I set to listen to. And yeah, so if that happens, I'm not going to be too lost because I already know the story. So I figure that's a good choice, and I would also like to continue on with the series. So I'm just really happy about this choice. So then we have Care of Magical Creatures, and for that we have to have a creature with a beak on the cover, and this is going to be another reread for me. And I have here Nevernight by Jay Kristoff, and obviously we have some sort of a bird and a beak as well. So this is a reread for me. I have read the first 2 books, but I never got around to finishing the series, so that's what I will be attempting to do soon. And this is the story of Mia, whose parents were sort of politically, they were killed basically, and now she wants to have revenge, and she goes to this assassin school and she's trained there. So yeah, basically we follow her, and it was a really fun book to read the first time around, so I figure it's going to be the same this time. And this time around I will be listening to the series, so I will be able to let you know whether it's better to read it or listen to it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting back into this world. Then we have Charms, so for that you have to have a book with a white cover, and for that I decided to go with God's Grave, which is the continuation of the Nevernight story. And yeah, it's not completely white, but it's as white as my books right now that I have here are. So I guess it will have to do, but mostly it's white. And it has a beak as well, so I could have chosen for that as well. Great. Well, I just love the series. Book 2 maybe was not my favorite in comparison to the first one, but still it was really great. So as I said, I honestly cannot wait to see how it finishes. But yeah, because this is actually my first Jay Kristoff series or books, just in general, that I was reading. Well, actually, I'm sort of lying because I've read Illuminate before, but that was co-written with Amy Kaufman, and maybe that was it, that I didn't like it. But these I love. So yeah. Then we have Defense Against the Dark Arts, and for that you have to read the book set at the sea coast, or the sea coast. And for that I've chosen to go back to reading A Queen in Hiding by Sarah Kozlov, which I already started reading back in, I would like to say, January. But never got around to finishing it. So in this book we follow a girl and her mother actually at the beginning. So basically the girl has to go in, the princess has to go into hiding and sort of get her way back onto the throne, I would say. But that's not happened yet, because the beginning of the book is really sort of like what I would expect to be like known, but not where the book would start, because the queen has not even been overthrown yet. So it's interesting. I didn't expect for the book to start this way. So I think it's why I couldn't really get into it that fast. But still, it's interesting enough that I will try to continue on with it. And their kingdom, because there's various kingdoms, it's sort of involved with water. Because there's some magic and they have control over water. And obviously, I'm not sure that the story is going to take place on the sea, but there's coastline. So yeah, aside from that, I really don't know much about what's going to happen and how much sea is involved. But honestly, until I read a book, I cannot really say, except if I chose a pirate book, then that would be obvious. But yeah, I didn't do that. So I will just have to guess and hope that there's sea in this book somehow. So yeah, next book is divination. So you have to assign your TBR numbers, and then you have to pick a certain book through random number generator. And I did pick actually 2 books for this because I have 2 TBRs. One is my general TBR that has like 200 books that I still haven't read, and I have also a TBR that's about with the books that I bought this year. So I picked 2 books, and the first number was 142, which was Andrzej Sapkowski's The Last Wish, which is book 1 of The Witcher, that I still haven't read. I watched a couple of episodes, but I haven't gotten around to reading the book. So this is I guess it's a must now. And also, I really just love the new covers that I saw on Book Depository. I don't like, the red ones or actually these ones, but those I love. So if I decide that I love this book and want to continue on with the series, I'm definitely gonna get those covers because they're just awesome. So yeah, so the second book from my new TBR that I picked was actually number 17, I think, and it's Robert Jackson Bennett's Foundryside, which I don't have in a physical format yet, but I should get that one soon. So I will be reading that one. I've heard basically nothing but good things about the book. Not actually sure what it's about. I know that book 2 comes out. I do know that. But I've been interested in reading his book since City of Stairs came out, and I just never got around to reading that series either. So I guess it's a good time for me to start reading his books now. And with all the praise that the book is receiving, I figured it must be good, even though it's probably a chunker as well. So yeah, what's about? Clueless. I'm clueless, but that's how I get into books these days. I rarely know the summary of a book when I pick it up. I'm just really interested in books when I hear about them, and then I go and buy them, and by that time I already forget what they're about. So that's why I cannot tell you a lot. So next we have herbology, and for that we have to choose a title that starts with the letter M, and for that I decided to go with Ellen Alexander's The Missing Immortals, which is book 2 in the Secrets of Dean's Wood series, which is a middle grade, and I still haven't gotten around to reading this book. So we follow a bunch of kids that go to this private school in the middle of nowhere, and in book 1 they sort of found a treasure, and this one I think they're trying to find some missing statues or something like that. So it's a fun series, I think. Not maybe the best when it comes to editing, but still quite enjoyable. So I will get to it hopefully this month or next month. So yeah. Then we have History of Magic, and for that we have to have a book featuring witches and wizards. And for that I'm going with this one, which is another I'm actually listening to this time around. So but yeah, I already read it basically. So James Islington, The Shadow of What Was Lost. I have read this book before when it came out, and I then waited for book 3 to come out before I decided to get to books 2 and 3, which I will try to do soon now. And in this book we follow various characters, but the main one is Davian, and he's an augur, and augurs were very revered years back in his world. So they have the power to tell whether or not someone is lying. They can see the future and all that. And years back they sort of started losing their powers, and they could not see the future anymore, and they were overthrown. And since then people really do not care for them or any type of magic. So yeah, he is supposed to be Davian. He's supposed to go through these trials, which would then make him an official mage. But the problem is that he cannot control his magic. So, he's supposed to be stripped. He's afraid that he's going to be stripped of his powers entirely and be turned into a shadow, and he doesn't want that. And then just before the trials happen, he is given a chance to actually go on this adventure, and that's what he does. So we follow him and also his friends, and they have all very different fates. But yeah, so I enjoyed this book a lot, but as I said, book 3 kept being pushed back. And now it came out back in December, and now I think it's the right time to actually dive back into this world. And I'm already listening to it, and I'm enjoying it very much. So yeah, this one's gonna get done for sure. Next we have Muggle Studies, and for that you have to read a contemporary book, and I already did that. I actually listened to a new adult book by Elle Kennedy, and it was called The Risk. I read a few of her books back in the days, her off-campus books, and this is sort of a spin-off of that series, and we follow a girl and also a boy, and he's in the series he's a hockey player. So yeah, I sort of enjoy these sports romances, and I certainly enjoy her books, at least the ones that I read, and this one was a lot of fun as well. So we follow this girl who is her father's the coach of Briar's hockey team, and yeah, so she's not supposed to go out with the hockey players on the team from another school. Her father would definitely not approve, but she just so happens to need a favor from one of them, and they sort of get entangled, and it was a lot of fun. These books always are. not too much sex, so it's doable. It's not like one of those typical romance books when there's sex on every side, every page, and that sort of gets old very quickly. So yeah. Next we have potions, and for that you have to read a book under 150 pages, and for that I decided to go with Snapshot by Brandon Sanderson, which is a tiny novella, and it has 100 and how many pages? 129 pages, and in this book we follow two detectives sort of that go into Snapshot, and Snapshot is sort of Snapshot enables them to recreate a certain day, and they can go back and basically figure out who did whatever they're sort of trying to detect. And yeah, it sounds like fun. His novellas usually are, and this one is sort of very inventive, so I think it should be cool and very fun to read and enjoyable as well. So yeah, the last subject that we have is transfiguration, and for that you have to read a book or series that includes shapeshifting. And for some reason, I just couldn't think of a book for that for the longest of times. And then I saw this one, and it's called Prudence, and it's by Gail Carriger. And this is sort of a spin-off series to the Parasol Protectorate, which involves all sorts of shape-shifting, but mostly werewolves. And there's also vampires and people that are soulless, which means that they don't have a soul, but when they come in contact with werewolves or vampires, they sort of negate their powers. And in that series, we basically follow the mother to Prudence. And now this is a series in which Prudence is the prominent character. And if I assume and I go with what the other books were like, it's going to be very adventurous, a lot of fun, and just silly. So it should be a lot of fun to read, and hopefully I will get to it. So those are all the books that I have on my TBR for this month. As I said, I will do my best to get through them. If not, I will maybe, very likely, prolong this readathon into May. I know that's cheating, but I still want to do it. And if I feel like still reading the books on the TBR, I will do that. But I guess you will see that by the end of the month. And yeah, let me know down in the comments if you are participating in the readathon and how you feel about it. What books have you chosen? Are you excited about it? What careers are you trying to achieve? And yeah, until next time, this is it, and see you soon. Bye.